Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. What I want to do today is go through an old classic, a book that was published in 1960, the year that I was born, by an absolutely famous author in C.S. Lewis. And the book is entitled The Four Loves. Reading The Four Loves by C.S. Lewis feels like sitting down with a wise, compassionate mentor who gently leads one through the labyrinth of human affection. It isn't just a random book. It's a conversation that seems to peel back the layers of one's own heart, revealing truths about love that one may not have yet realized and understood. Lewis doesn't just describe love, he dissects it, celebrates it, and challenges you to see it all in its raw, beautiful, and sometimes painful forms. So this book is organised into four distinct categories. And the four categories include affection, which in Greek is storge, friendship, which in Greek is philia, romantic love, which in Greek is eros, and divine love, which in Greek is agape. And each chapter feels like an exploration of a different corner of one's emotional world and an awesome journey of discovery. So let's see what we can learn from this book and go through the four key categories of love to see what we can learn and what we can incorporate in our lives. So the first key lesson from this book is where we look at love as affection, or storge, as the ancient Greeks named it. The quiet comforts of ordinary love. This love, Lewis explains, is rooted in familiarity, like the love we feel for family or those we have simply always been with, and those who have always been there. It's quiet and it's unassuming, like a warm blanket on a cold day. Reading this chapter makes one think of their childhood, the subtle ways that our parents showed love, like baking our favourite meal after a long day at school, or the ways siblings would bond together over shared memories and shared moments. It reminds one that affection does not demand grand gestures. It thrives in the mundane, and that's the beauty of it. But Lewis also warns that affection can become possessive or selfish if left unchecked. It is humbling to read this and to see it as a reminder for all of us to cherish this type of love while being mindful of how it can smother when it becomes too needy. The next step in this book, the next key lesson, is where we look at the love which is described as friendship or philia, that rare and precious bond. Friendship is the love Lewis calls the least understood and the most undervalued in modern times. As one reads his poetic descriptions of true friendship, where two people are able to stand shoulder to shoulder, united by shared interests or a common pursuit, you get to think of the friends who have helped shape us over the years, the ones who've walked beside us in both laughter and in sorrow. C.S. Lewis points out that friendship is unique because it's not necessarily there for our survival like affection or romantic love. It is a chosen love that makes it all the more beautiful, but it's also very, very rare, requiring vulnerability and shared purpose. This chapter urges one to treasure friendships and invest in them intentionally. The third type of love that we look at is the romantic love, eros, the intoxicating flame. Eros, the love that inspires poetry, music, and countless acts of madness. Lewis captures the beauty and danger of romantic love with such clarity that we find ourselves nodding in recognition. He celebrates the passion and depth of eros, but also cautions against making it an idol. This chapter was a personal reckoning for me and would be similarly a reckoning for all others who read it. We think about the times when we had been swept away by the intensity of romantic love, only to realise later that one can lose themselves in the process if they're not careful. Lewis's words were a reminder that while eros is powerful, it must be tempered with wisdom and a grounding in something greater. And the last point from this book is divine love, agape, which, according to the author, is the ultimate love. The final great love, agape, is the selfless, unconditional love that reflects God's love for humanity. This chapter moves us deeply. Lewis writes with such reverence and insight that one feels their heart expands, as if we are being called to love more purely and more generously. Agape is not easy, as it asks us to love without expecting anything in return, to forgive when it's hard, and to serve others when it's inconvenient. But as Lewis explains, it's the love that transcends all others, the love that brings us closest to the divine, reading this chapter was like a prayer, a quiet moment of reflection on how one could embody this love in their own lives. Take care, everybody. Yasas, and bye for now.